Moving on quickly, we'll be having our second panel. Our panelists are ready. And our moderator for this panel, which is talking about making an impact outside government, is an actor, a television and radio host, and also the host of the Love Lounge on Ebony Live TV, Oreka Goddess. A round of applause for Oreka Goddess, please. She will be our moderator for this session. Also coming up is one of Nigeria's wonderful comedians with over 20 years experience. He's also one of the owners of Barron's World Entertainment, which was founded in 2006. He's none other than Basket Mouth. A round of applause for Basket Mouth. Coming up also is Shani Suleiman, who is the Vice President, Global Operations and Della. A round of applause for Shani Suleiman, please. We also have Koye Showemimo, the head of Sports Temple Management Company, and also the co-founder of Polygon Sports Limited. A round of applause for Koye Showemimo. Lastly, on the panel, we have Japhet Omojua, a public speaker, socio-economic political commentator, and social media expert. A round of applause for our panelists, ladies and gentlemen. They will be speaking on making an impact outside government. And now I'm handing over to Oreka Goddess, who is the moderator for this session. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so very much for being here. Now, a lot's been in the media recently about how more young people need to get involved with Nigeria. We should stop being Twitter activists. I'm looking at you, Omojua. And speak out, and not just speak out, but make sure we are the change that we want to see in Nigeria. And it's so important today that we have this discussion about the kind of impact we can make within this great nation and how we can be more effective about it. So can we start with areas that the youth have been impactful from your perspective, Basket Mouth? Oh, yes. How the youth have been impactful already from your perspective?
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. The youth, unlike before, back then when I started, the power that we had over people, our fans, our followers, was quite limited because social media wasn't available to us about 23 years ago. So if you want to break into a new ground, you have to travel to that place, unlike now that you can be in your own home and record something and post it, and everybody can, get to see what you have. And one of the things that we've been using as a tool as the youth has been social media. And right now you've noticed most corporate bodies, most multinational companies are now using artists as a tool to promote their own goods, unlike before, because they now understand that putting a billboard on Third Mainland Bridge, the effect it gets you in a year, a social media post, be in a way of skits or a post, can give you more effect in a space of 3 hours, depending on how effective it is. So right now, the youth now, we are more or less like the engine room to do so much, be it politics. Like if you've noticed, the past election, our previous president, the government then, they used the youth to run their campaign. So now people have now come to understand that the strength of the youth cannot be measurable, unlike before.
Now, speaking of measuring the effect that the youth have in Nigeria, I'm looking now to Shani. From Mandela's perspective, I know that there's been a lot done, not just to empower the youth, but also women specifically, giving them a chance to be more visible, because before it was women being seen but not heard. So tell us how you've tried to make sure that women empower the Nigerian economy.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. So from my perspective, I think the story of really women empowerment for me is not a social enterprise initiative. It's more of, I look at things from a very commercial perspective as a business. Businesses are proven to do better when you have diversity of thought. Women see things differently in some cases than men do. Same way, different races might have different experiences, not because of our biological differences, but just the life experiences we've had. So for us, it's a priority because we believe that having more women in our company will improve our performance as a business, first and foremost, and also because it is good for the world. If you empower a woman, you empower several other people. If you empower a man, you empower one man. That's kind of the philosophy we have. So the global average of participation of women in technology is about 7%, which is very low. At Andela, we've invested very heavily in enabling women to join the technology ecosystem. Right now, we're about 4 times the global average in Nigeria, and we believe that we can actually go to half. If the population is close to 50-50, then I think the workplace should also represent 50-50. So just one little statistic to give before I pass the microphone. When we started Andela, a lot of people did not believe that women could be leaders in technology. It wasn't common wisdom. The very first woman to reach the highest level of Andela's technology leadership program was the very first person at our company to get to that level. She wasn't the first one to join the company, but she was the first one to arrive at the end. And so we fundamentally believe that anything a man can do, a woman can, and should, and will. And so.
Thank you very much for that. Okay, so now, Basket Mouse said something earlier about social media and how Twitter can literally drive all kinds of conversations even, which I can't say right now, and also help people make more money. Now, when we're trying to speak about the youth of Nigeria and how we can more be impactful with the government, I know, Omojua, you have a very strong voice on social media. People look up to you and people look to your tweets. And are you sometimes afraid that you can influence people, my apologies, that you can influence people one way or the other just by a single tweet?
First of all, I don't know why this is about me, because I'm supposed to be having a conversation about young people. But the thing is, I'm very, very conscious of that. So one thing I do very intentionally is that I let them see that I'm as human as they are. So I have these other conversations that I'm not supposed, according to certain perceptions, I'm not supposed to have. So when they have conversations about shaku-shaku, I have conversations about shaku-shaku. I let them see my feelings, and I'm very, very intentional about that. Because I don't want anyone to follow me and say I led him or her to that point. I understand that they appreciate certain things about me, but I'm very, very intentional about letting them see that this person is just exactly like you in many ways. And I also think that that would also let them to appreciate their own failings and their shortcomings and not let those things be the deterrent to being whatever ambition.